I could go back and stand in front of Tonal again. I remember seeing this thing on the wall, standing across the room, looking at it, took my camera out, did a quick video that you guys can still see for yourselves. It's on YouTube. And I remember thinking, my life is going to change now. And it did. What's up, everybody? Hope you're all doing very well. Back with another video today, guys. I had a great question. I actually had to bump it up to the top of the list because it's such a good question that I had to put it out there because I didn't want to leave you guys hanging knowing that a question like this exists, because a lot of you guys watch this channel and you're trying to figure out, is tonal right for you? Well, this might help you. This might help you figure out if it's right for you. It might help you figure out what you need to do before you get tonal. It might give you an idea of what you got to focus on once you get it. So let's get into it. I really think it's going to help a lot of you guys who watch this channel or are expecting your tonal or have just received it. This stuff might help. So guys, the question was, from the moment you received your tonal and it was hanging on your wall, what are the things you would have done differently in using tonal? And what would you do exactly the same? As far as the exactly the same part, we can focus on that first because that's very limited. I did a lot of meditating on this. It's a great question. First of all, I would have ordered sooner. Knowing what I know now about the machine, I would have placed the order sooner. What I would keep the same is the ambition that I had while using this machine. Because guys, I've been saying this from the beginning, you're going to get out of something what you put in, okay? From the day I got this machine, I think I only took 5 days off from using it. And that was only because I went on a vacation very early in the days that I got this machine. And I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't want to go on the vacation because I knew I had this at home. So in my heart, I was wishing I was home while I was on vacation for that reason. Now, did I enjoy my vacation? Of course. You got to be balanced, but it was new at the time. Tonal was super new for me, and I didn't get to use it too much before I went on vacation, so I was thinking, I want to get home. All right, so what would I do? Exactly the same. Keep the ambition, keep the motivation, keep the drive, and keep the goal in mind that you are going to need to achieve the goals that you need to get out of this machine. That's number one. That's the biggest thing that I would do exactly the same, because guys, I can tell you I've given it 100%. I can rarely say that with things in my life, but I've given this 100%. I've given this 110%. Every single day I grind away at this machine, and even if I don't have a lot of time, I will get something out of it. I'll make sure, because I know my goal. I know how I want to reach my goal. And guys, pretty soon I'm going to be kicking it up to 150% because I want to make sure I reach my end goal sooner. So keep the ambition, all right? Now, from the moment it was hanging on my wall, what would I have done differently? All right. I would have went back. I just got tonal. They just hung it up on the wall. What would I have done differently? Okay. I would have already had a goal in mind. So I would have known where to start. Okay? When I first got tonal, I knew I needed it. I knew I needed it in my life. And I knew that if it was as amazing as it looked, that this was something that had to be a part of my life. But I didn't have a goal. If I had a goal, my progress would have been jump-started by like a million times more. So I suggest I would have went back and had a goal. That's something, I know that doesn't have to do with technically with the machine, but we're going to get into that later. So have the goal, I would recommend, guys. Because if I had a goal, I would have known that I would have had to go straight into free mode. Now, I gave a program in the beginning, Go Big or Go Home. I gave that program a chance. The reason why I gave that program a chance was because I was speaking to Coach Jackson about that whole about the tonal. I was telling him, hey Jackson, I don't really think that I'm going to benefit from the programs. He said, Joe, just give it a try. Test it out. See if you like it. You might love it. Guys, I did the program. It was fantastic. Fantastic program. But if I already had my goal, I would have known enough to say, I don't want to do the program. And was it good? Yeah, it was good. Very good. But I would have known that I should have started in free mode. Instead of spending the 4 weeks or whatever it was in the beginning of me receiving Tonal, instead of receiving it and spending that 4 weeks doing Coach Jackson's program, I would have known what I wanted already if I had that goal. I would have been able to lay out my plan and have it already and be able to focus on that plan instead of wasting those 4 weeks. Because honestly, I don't see it as a full waste, but I see it as kind of a waste because it wasn't really going in the direction that I wanted to go. The program's great. It's going to take you in a certain direction. I need to go in a different direction, okay? So I would have went straight into free mode if that was the case. The next thing, guys, I would have learned what the AI on Tonal was and how to utilize it from the beginning. So the first day comes, right? Instead of getting on this thing, putting on the camera like I did, and start repping away and kind of learning as I go, I would have focused and done research on all the AI, all the graphs, all the charts, the scores that Tonal gives you, all the AI that is built in to improve your experience, improve your overall experience and your progress. It's there to make you improve faster. So I would have delved into that more from the beginning. The reason why is as soon as you figure out what those scores and things, those graphs do, what they're for, instead of learning as you go, if you sat down and really dissected them, you'd be able to learn faster how to implement them into your training, which will then give you better progress quicker, okay? But I had a huge disadvantage, guys. I didn't have videos like what I make for you guys. I didn't have anything to look at. The only stuff that was out on Tonal at the time was paid advertising. And it did not do this machine justice. It did not tell you anything about the machine. It didn't tell you about the graphs. It didn't get in depth with anything. So I had nothing to look at. But you guys have these videos that I've done. I've done videos on the AI that Tonal has. So you can quite literally hop onto my Tonal playlist on YouTube and check out that AI video. And I break it down. I show you, how can this be used? How can that be used? How can this be used? How can that be used? Break it down super simple as I could, and give you the best way of understanding it so that you know how to implement it. Because that is where the progress is going to really stem from, right after the motivation. A spoon is great, right? A spoon is great. But it might be the wrong tool for the job. If you're eating a steak, a spoon is not really going to do well for you, right? So what I'm trying to get at is, you might get on Tonal. Tonal's great. But if you don't know how to use Tonal, or you're using it in a way it's not supposed to be used, it's not really going to help you too much. So that's the next thing. So learn what the AI was. That's, if I could go back in time, that's what I would do different. I would have already had an adjustable bench. Okay? You guys don't need an adjustable bench, but I think that it is it's the best thing that you could possibly get for yourself, personally, next to a cheat bar. I personally like cheat bars. I actually don't have a cheat bar. But I would recommend, if I was going to recommend 2 things for this, depending on your goals, of course. Depending on your goals, a cheat bar and an adjustable bench. Not all of you will need that. But that's just me. Just me. Okay? Okay. So, I would have started experimenting with eccentric mode sooner. And I would have learned what the purpose of the different dynamic weight modes were sooner. Okay? The reason why is, guys, it goes back to knowing what you're using. Okay? If you have a bag full of equipment and you're out in the middle of the woods and now all of a sudden you're stranded, if you don't know what's in your bag or where to look, you might have a lighter in there that you need, for example, to start a fire. But if you don't know what's in there, it's not going to help you. Same thing with tonal. I know it might have been a crude, kind of like a crude, horrible example that I just gave, but I'm telling you what it is. At the end of the day, if you don't know how these modes work or what they're designed to do, you'll be there using chains mode. Oh yeah, chains mode is great, but if you don't know why that mode exists, if you don't know what it's doing for your muscles, you're not going to get the same gains. You're not going to get the same results. You need to know why you're doing something. Why is key. And again, that goes back to the videos. Guys, I have so many videos on chains mode, on eccentric mode, on smart flex mode. I have videos on each one, explaining it, breaking it down, teaching you which ones you need for your goal. And that's why I use eccentric mode. Because I've learned that eccentric mode is what I need for my optimal muscle growth. Okay? So I would have learned those sooner. Sooner. I would have went back in time. I would have learned what those were. Okay? Very important. Very important. Next, what I would have done, I would have experimented with the lighter weight. I would have experimented with the lighter weight and more reps versus the heavier weight with less reps sooner in the beginning. The reason why is because this machine is so incredible. It uses 1 pound increments. Not only does it it can tell you what weight you need. Not only does it do that, but the machine uses 1 pound increments. Guys, it's something that if you're coming from conventional weights, you have no clue what you're getting yourself into. You don't need the standard 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 25 pounds, 30 pounds, 35 pounds. You don't need that anymore. You get 37 pounds, 38 pounds. So I would suggest you can really make every single set your own just by changing the rep range. You can't do that in real life. You can't do that outside of tonal. So I would experiment with the rep ranges. I would have experimented with the rep ranges and used the 1 pound increments in order to fine tune my sets to figure out what's best for my muscles, what's best for my goals, and just felt my way around that. Because guys, tonal gives you so much variety and it gives you so much play when it comes to tailoring your workouts to you. You can change so much about this machine to make it work for you better. So I would play around with that stuff, okay? The last thing is I would have done more research on tonal, but that's actually what I wrote down. Kind of stupid of me because at the end of the day, there was no research that I could really do. The only research I had, like I said, was there was one other guy on YouTube. I don't even remember what his name is, but it was a very quick overview of what tonal is. And then there was all paid advertising. So really, I couldn't have done more research. But the point that I guess I'm trying to get at is you guys should do more research before it's on your wall. Because if you, like for example, if you watch the videos that I've put out, you will get to know this machine like it's your best friend. Like guys, I've received messages from you guys, from you awesome people who subscribe to this channel. I've received messages from you guys saying, Joe, I feel like I know you. Because I watch so many of your videos. I feel like I know you. I love hearing your voice. I love listening to you on the way to work. You've taught me so much. All this great stuff. Guys, same goes for tonal. I appreciate that all, by the way. I appreciate that stuff more than you guys know. But what I'm trying to get at is the same thing goes for tonal. You watch those videos. By the time this thing gets on your wall, you're going to be a pro. You're going to jump on this thing. You're going to know what every single thing on it does. You're going to know where to place your hand. You're going to know how to move the arms. There's going to be no downtime. You don't want downtime. Downtime is a waste of time when you have a goal to get to. Okay? So that's what I recommend, guys. If I could go back and stand in front of tonal again. I remember seeing this thing on the wall, standing across the room, looking at it, took my camera out, did a quick video that you guys can still see for yourselves. It's on YouTube. And I remember thinking, my life is going to change now. And it did. But if I was able to go back and do all these things differently, that would have made my life change faster. All right, guys, fantastic question. I hope that what I gave you today answers that question well. If you have any other questions, you guys know where to find me. It's a privilege to speak to every one of you. Guys, having you out there, having you help me by asking questions, having you help me with the encouragement, and giving me the privilege and opportunity to help you all has changed my life more than you all know. When I am exercising on Tonal, I'm not exercising by myself. I'm exercising with you guys. I want you guys to know that. We're all in this together. We all have our goals. And as long as we stick to those goals and continue to support one another, we're going to make it to our goals, all right? Take care, be safe, and I'll catch you all at the next video.